All right, welcome back to Lost for Words with Lori. It is 2/21, February 21st. You know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow is 2/22/22. The big twos. Tuesday. Wow. You know what they say in the witchy world, that's a big deal. The number 2 is a big deal in numerology, but we're not going to unwrap that here on my podcast today. No. So how y'all doing? It's been about a week since I've last dished the dirt to you guys here. That's what the Lori do, right? I wait a while. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. It's been a crazy week, actually. I know y'all have been wondering what's been up in my world, and I know you've seen the video from our recent road trip to New Jersey, which was a freaking blast, I might add. Wanted to give you guys kind of a recap of all of that and talk about distractions and what's been going on in my world. The trip was amazing. We had such a good time getting out of here really early and heading up to see Ghost and Volbeat, which was a much needed distraction, I might add, and a really good trip for me. I really needed, I think, just that time, I think, to get away from all of the chaos that's been in my first world here since Toby passed, and to kind of reconnect with the fact that, I really missed my music. And that was just a blast. I went with my friends, Daryl and his son, August, two of the best humans I think I could possibly have chosen to take on that journey. These guys, I met them through Toby and his YouTube channel, and just, I'll tell you, the drama that started amongst all of that, which, I don't know, I'm not going to get into it here, I guess, because, I try to keep these short, sweet, and to the point for the most part, but our friendship started out real strange and interesting, and that journey in itself has taught all of us quite valuable lessons about boundaries, expectations, accountability, and just friendship in general. But just to kind of, I don't know, give you a little background on that is after, all of that dust had settled and, we all became okay again. And when Toby got sick, those two were proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that they were very good friends and checked in with me daily to find out how things were going. And then, of course, after Toby had passed, became just good friends and always checked in to make sure that I was doing all right. And these two guys, have had their own challenges and weren't treated very well most of their lives either, and was able to share with them the gift of music. Both of them love music, and was able to take them on a journey to see a band that was very important to them and their favorite band. And I got to give them that experience. And you guys all know me, music is a big thing in my world, and music is a very healing thing. And music was everything to Toby and I. And just watching them get to see and share that concert experience was just wow. And it was so freaking awesome. And we had just a really good time. And being able to just take that road trip. I love to travel, and I love to spend time on the road. So it was just a really great distraction for me. And I really needed it. And I enjoyed it. And it was a really good time. So, wow. Like I said, just part of that being super much needed, I think, in my world, to get me kind of back on track as to what was missing, I think, for what I needed. In the interim of that, I came home and went back to Metal Messiah and did a drive-by show, and realized, how much I really missed that. Am I ready to commit back to, a full-time DJ thing? Nah, I'm not. But, it gave me kind of the forethinking of doing some guest spot shows and maybe doing a few things for once a month, and maybe forward thinking about what I might want to do with that going forward. But, really just kind of coming to the realization that missing that piece, I mean, music has never disappeared. I've been using it a lot, just it never goes away. But trying to kind of prioritize where that fits into my world and how I need it to heal. It's hard and it's bittersweet because, I miss having Toby here. Um, and he was the brains behind all of that digging for underground music and missing the people that we touched base with all the time, and the great friends that we made, and a lot of those people still reaching out, and I'm still supporting a lot of those people, and people releasing new music and sending it to me, and talking and still remembering Toby and what we did, and people who are dedicating a lot of new music to him, which it warms my heart, and I'm grateful for that every day. Is pretty fantastic. So I'll still have that opportunity to play some of that new music for people, again on my terms, but it's been a really wonderful thing to sit back and have that distraction, I think, for me. Ironically enough, we made it 1,100 miles round trip and then came back, and I was making dinner last Tuesday, and or it was a Wednesday, and I got a knock on the door, and there's a cop at my door, and he says, "Do you own the blue car out in the parking lot?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Well, somebody hit your car," and apparently the neighbor was pulling into her parking spot a little too fast, and she took out the front end of our vehicle. So now I've got to deal with all of that garbage. And again, not my fault, but now I have to deal with insurance companies, and thankfully no deductibles because their insurance is going to pay to fix the vehicle. But now I've got to wait a month and a half to get it into the shop, and it's drivable, but I can't take it on the interstate, which means no long visits. Now I got to deal with this rental car bullshit, and one thing happens and another. You just kind of deal with it, but it's not necessarily something I really wanted to have to deal with at this point. But it is what it is, right? Gratefully, I work from home. I'm not dependent on a vehicle. It's just more of an inconvenience. The crazy thing is that the following day, the life insurance check that I had put off filing a claim for showed up in the mail, and then I kind of tailspinned into a whole nother day of trying to wrap my brain around the gift that Toby had given me, on top of needing, or not really even needing it, but how I was going to process that in my head. And it had already been, decided what I was going to do with that once it was taken care of. But just trying to wrap my brain around, all of that, and all the steps that I've been trying to take to deal with that as a whole. It's one of those things when you're trying to process the reality that they're gone and they're not coming back. And it's just another piece of that, part of that journey that I'm still working really hard to get through. And on top of that, just coping with some of the other external drama and those little pieces that are still hanging on from what had happened, directly after Toby had passed away, and some of those people who, had really evil agendas and wanted to hurt. And I'm not giving any more energy to that. So trying to stay distracted and focused away from that has been pretty easy, I guess, for the most part, because I've taken enough steps and put enough boundaries in place to eliminate that. I have no desire to entertain it anymore. And I made it pretty clear to the people who were involved that I just don't care about it enough to really give it any thought. So when it's brought to my attention that certain people are still trying to dig, or still making it known that they are, trying to create chaos, or they put mine or Toby's name into their mouth, I just kind of go, oh, okay, good for them. Have the day they deserve, and, be confident in the fact that the universe will repay them for their bullshit, and let it go. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I just don't even have time to care anymore. I have bigger fish to fry, and I have a new life. This is my life now, right? So, yeah, that's it for that. The realization that in, the next week and a half, Toby and my birthdays are coming up. And that's a whole nother thing that I don't know how I'm going to react or cope or wrap my brain around that either. Because, our birthdays was kind of a big deal here, and we celebrated together. And that's going to be hard. So I think finding a distraction for that is going to be difficult. Spending it alone, again, hard. Coming up with the process of thinking, I think, for me is part of what I've been helping, my therapist has been helping me with, is accepting the circumstances that surround my life now, and how, I didn't get to choose. I didn't get to make those choices. So it's difficult right now, I think, as I'm trying to just make my life as simple as I possibly can, and not have any commitments or major responsibilities, so that I can try to set goals that only serve me for right now, and have very realistic expectations of what my life is going to look like. That's a really difficult thing to do. And when I talk about distractions, it's finding very simple distractions in the moment that serve what I need to just basically survive. I don't know from one minute to the next what's going to make me happy. And that is a very hard reality for anybody to have to face, I think. And so I wake up in the morning and I don't know what that day is going to bring. And I have to navigate that with little pieces and little distractions, and whatever I can do to find joy in that moment. And I've tried for many years to find those moments of joy. And if that means it's just scratching the little bird's head, or reaching out to an old friend, or having a memory, whether it's 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or 5 months ago, I have to keep searching for those little distractions that get me through those moments or those days, or even, those emotions that I'm feeling, specifically even right now. Those emotions are really high because I'm thinking about the things that are painful. And it's those moments that my therapist tells me that I have to try to do homework and unwrap what those emotions are trying to tell me, or what lessons I'm supposed to be learning. And so, but life is really just a series of distractions until we are no longer here. And trying to come to the acceptance part of that is very difficult, I think, for a lot of people. So what are my goals? I don't know. From any day to the next, I do have some short-term goals. Like I said, I'll be doing some stuff with the radio station. My friends that I took to New Jersey are still doing their YouTube stuff, so they have some places nearby, so they will be dropping in to visit from time to time. Trying to make plans with some friends locally to, go back and see the baby goats at the farm, spend a little time with some other people. I found out another person that I really do love and admire that I worked with when I first got here is getting married. So I'm hoping, like Hal, that I can go see her get married. I'm very excited and very delighted. I started goofing around on another social media platform, and by no coincidence, I believe the universe handed me that on a silver platter. Discovered that through a learning journey that the world is very small, and I've found some people that I was trying to gather some information from, that I know actually through other people. That were connected by my past, which is fantastic, and it made me feel very good and very happy and very safe. And so that was very fortunate. And just, trying to take in every moment of every day and realize that there are things out there that give me hope, and give me some sense of peace and kind of ground me. And I don't know, maybe there's a piece of me that thinks that there is a part of Toby that watches over me and thinks that he's steering me in that direction, that I'm on that right path, that he wants me to learn, and guide me there. But I'll tell you guys, I miss him every minute of every day. And that circumstance that brought me to this point, I don't know where it's going to take me. But I do have expectations for myself. I just have to keep reminding myself that I need to make sure that they are attainable, that they are reasonable, and that they are not too large that I cannot meet them. And that I'm not trying too hard to think too far into the future, because that is basically setting myself up for failure. I don't want to think too far about what's going to happen a year from now or even 6 months from now. I just want to try to go reasonably just as far to the future as I need to. Day by day is the best way for me, with a small sprinkle of what's to come in the next week, maybe, or the next 2 weeks, based on if there are plans or things that need to be addressed. Bills have to be paid. Obviously, I need to eat. I have a bird to take care of. Friends, family, events, that kind of stuff. But yeah, other than that, distractions. What distractions? So I'm out there. I'm just trying to find my new normal, just like everyone else. But until then, I appreciate everybody for being there, for reaching out, for listening. Until then, definitely be a good human, wash your fucking hands, and I'll see you next time.